that.
Yeah.
So guess what? He no longer got speaking engagements. He was the LeBron James of the history world in the 1890s. You know what I mean? And so he went from having so many offers to speak to having none. When he wrote the book of the beginnings. But then he didn't stop. You know what he did? He kept writing. And they might have taken him out. I need to look into the history of more of the history of Joe Massey. But this is what I was trying to say. Getting back to this. This was charted in 1559. This was the first map, the first European map was charted in 1559. Now the Moors had been charted, but I'm talking about the European maps. They want to give the credit to this guy. Oh my God, his name is Gerald something. But anyway, I'm gonna get the information for you. But anyway, in 1977, the United Nations knew that the map that we've been looking at all the years has been distorted. So what they did was this. They had commissioned Arnos Peters, A-R-N-O-S, Peters. Arnos Peters.
Arnos Peters.
Yeah. See, from the 1500s to now, the leading cartographers in the world are German. Okay, even today, the leading schools in cartography are in Germany, right? So they went and got Arnos Peters. And for the first time in modern history, the globe was charted from space using satellites and computers instead of a man in a boat and instruments.
Yeah.
All right? So you know it's going to be far more accurate. So now check this out. Africa is 3 times the size that is portrayed. Now see that right there, that's the map that that's the map that he charted. And so now, guess what? Go all over the world. Listen, go all over the world, right? Especially go throughout Europe, right? And in schools, children are taught this. But not in America. 20 years ago, when I was going into schools, I know I was at Hill Freeway School up in Washington Lane in Tobahagen. And when I came into this information, always, whenever I went to a school, I would go down, there used to be the Rand McNally store at 16th and JFK. No, 16th and Market, not JFK, 16th and Market. I go down there, I say, I want to look here. I said, I want a new world map. Matter of fact, you do this. Go into a map store and say, or call up a map guy and say, I want a new world map. I want a map by Arnold Peters. That's the true map, right? And this is what they used to do. Guys, my witness. They will go under the counter and pull it out. So I smiled. I said, can I ask you something? The guy said, yes. I said, now I know you just work here. All right? Don't take my question, bro. I'm not coming at you, bro. I said, are you familiar? Oh, yeah, this is that. I said, if you're familiar with this map, and people here familiar with the map, they must know something about it because you're selling it. How come now all of these maps, all kind of maps, this is a map store. Not one of this one. Now, go to the United Nations. I want to go there. Somebody, I think they had a stained glass mural installed. And guess what? They said, no, I did. Because they're trying to tell the truth. They're trying to tell the truth. But they let the lies live. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln freed the slave. Huh? The Vietnamese bombed Tonkin Bay. 9/11 was done by some terrorists. Huh? They keep telling the lies. The Tuskegee experiment, that was no serious thing. The government was not really involved. They keep see, this is how America tells its history. See, America tells history the way Granny tells history. Hey, Granny ain't gonna tell you that Aunt Susie used to sell pussy up on the avenue. She ain't gonna tell you that Uncle Ned was a sick up man.
Yeah.
She gonna tell you about Uncle Reggie that was a preacher, or Aunt Mary that was a teacher. They gonna sugarcoat that history.
And then at the funeral, they were so good.
Oh, they were so good. And people, you ever look around the funeral? People like,
yeah,
oh my God. Do they have to lie? Okay, you figure. I'm gonna give you. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple lies. All right. You got that because you lived your life. But then you say, wait a minute, now you're going too far. Talking like the man walked on water, all that. Come on, don't lie now. Don't go too far from the truth.
I see maps on different people's like YouTube and everything like. I seen these elongated maps, and I seen somebody. I gotta find it. Somebody had it like they had that, and then they had like a skull next to it. It was almost like elongated skull next to it. It was like almost similar to the way they had it, and then I lost it somewhere. But I do see it. That's how I be seeing it. Everybody don't got the fat map.
Well, see, right. See, what happened is this. Like Martin Luther King said, truth crushed the earth will rise again. And it's a vibe where sometimes you ain't even looking for information or truth, and it'll come your way. And then truth got a way of just coming out anyway. You might be watching a movie, and in that movie, have you seen, wait a minute. Yeah. Did they just, they give you a little bit of something, and it be from some real stuff there. Now the movie that really should have woke everybody up was Enemy of the State. That's an old jam. Will Smith, remember that? Huh? That's an old jam. Yeah. But a lot of that movie is happening right now, right around. Yeah. All the survey, and look at, especially go around Temple, don't commit a crime. They got your ass on tape.
I just told somebody, I was telling somebody about maybe a week ago. This was one of my boys. He sold weed and everything. And he told his boy, come on around the corner, there's a camera on the pole. I said, you worried about the camera on the pole, the damn satellite of the sky can try to see better than the
Absolutely. The satellite.
And he looked at me and I was like, go to Google's Maps. How do you think they make Google's Maps?
Right.
And they looking at shit in real time.
No, right, exactly. Now, check this out. Now, the add-on of what you're saying. I had this girl, man. I used to love this girl. She was a Moorish American. And them Moorish American girls, they study. You talk to a Moorish American. You talk to a Moorish American girl. They can play in the history, all of it. They can't, you ain't going to be Moorish American and not be in the history, because that's all they talk about is history, right? Now, check this out. A date was going to a lecture or going to a museum for us, So when she said she wanted to go check out Ivan Conservative, I never heard of that conservative, right? We went to 52nd and Chestnut, over top of the Marine Bank, second floor, right? Check this out. Conservative was talking about all that. His book, they came before Columbus had just came out. So he was talking that. Then all of a sudden he just got off topic, right? You know what he said? Now, mind you, at the time when he made this statement to this audience, I was in the audience, Ivan Van Sertima was a professor at Rutgers University, and he was on the Nobel Peace Prize Selection Committee. Now, you don't get on the committee to determine who's gonna get a Nobel shucking and jiving, right? You must be bringing something to the table, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's his background. He's talking all this heavy. I'm like, oh man, right? But then he wound up and threw a curveball out of nowhere. He digressed. He says, you know what? He says he got a call from NASA. He was trying to talk about how the government would hold information. He said he got a call from NASA, right? And he said that it was him and some other anthropologists. He said when they got there, he body of a 5-foot tall creature. That now people call him the grave with those eyes. Yeah. This was in 1980. He said this. Okay. Now there was no movies about that out. So okay, fast forward. A couple years later, 4 or 5 years later, I forget the name of this movie. And when I saw that shit, I thought about what I said. I said, oh shit. Huh? Now, I didn't necessarily believe him, but I didn't discount it.
Yeah.
In other words, my antennas was out because this dude is too sharp. They be making this stuff up. He's involved in too many heavy things for him not to be bringing it. Plus, like I'm talking to you, I eventually got to know Dick Gregory. I used to call Dick Gregory at his crib. We used to talk for 1 or 2 hours. And Dick Gregory would say stuff, and I'd be like, oh my Lord, Dick Gregory lost it. And then guess what? 4 or 5 years later, what he told me, headlines. And so, you know, the point I'm trying to make is they hide so much stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They like that boy, I'm not a fan of his, Michael Quick said they did it, and no, we did it and they hit it. And that is so true, man.
I'm going to tell you this real quick, and I gotta get to my mom for school for the children, but I was telling my little niece just yesterday. I was sitting there, I was talking to her, we was watching TV and everything, and I was telling her about, I was talking about a holodeck. I don't know if you ever heard about Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
The holodecks.
Oh yeah.
But we wasn't talking about Star Trek. And I was telling her about now they got the virtual reality room where you can walk in and you can see like you can pick stuff up and it's like you walk into like another dimension, like wherever you want to be at. And she was like, "You so late, this car VR, you late." And I was like, I called her mom downstairs. I said, "Kid, can you come here for a minute?" And she was like, "Yeah." She came downstairs. I said, "Tell her back in the 90s before she was born, Star Trek: The Next Generation. We used to watch.
That's right.
They had holodecks.
That's right.
We were just talking about." And I said, tell her, I used to always tell y'all that they're going to do this stuff, and they're always trying to make it. Because I said, no, I'm not late. I found out about it way before you was even born.
That's right, because that was a treat. In other words, people would take their vacation time on them holodecks. Let's say they wanted to go back to another century, 18th century. Yeah, they be dressed up as the characters.
And the thing with it, and I started looking at that back when I was a little boy watching the Jetsons. Sometimes people bring up Jetsons, and Star Trek when they say "Beam me up, Scotty," and they got the little thing like a cell phone next to them.
That's right.
And the Jetsons when they talking to each other on the screen. And I be hearing people like, "Yeah, they're gonna do that. They're gonna do that." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I didn't doubt them, but I really didn't pay a lot of mind to it." The next thing you know, I started seeing video phones. And cell phones came out, and I thought back like, oh, man, this is like, now how much other stuff. Now they got, and I actually said to somebody, suppose they make a robot one day that you can sit down and talk with it, and they just talk back with you. And now they got AI. You can sit down next to this thing and be like, oh man, my feet hurt. And he'll turn around and say, it's a female, and she'll turn around and say, what, you had a hard day? I'm talking about, now they got the neural, what is it called? Neural interface technology, where they put in there, like transferring the human neurons, their brains, I can't explain exactly how, but into the computer. And now this thing is thinking like a human being.
Right.
And they got terminated with machines turned on it.
Now here's another one. This is from Star Trek, but the Next Generation. Remember, the Next Generation had a guy that was he was genetically modified. He was very smart. He wasn't Spock, but he was like Spock. In other words, he was genetically.
Data. Commander Data?
No, not Data, because Data is more what you're talking about. Data's an android. This guy was he's a combination of machine and human.
The board?
No.
All right.
No. This guy is a combination.
I got to know what you're talking about.
No, No. I'm sorry. He's not a combination. You know what it was? He was genetically modified. He was genetically selected. That's how he was born. He was a test tube baby. They took some genes and created. I can't think of this guy's name. White guy.
Got to know it.
Yeah.
Because I watched.
But see, that was his issue, because see, people. That was his issue. His issue was he was not all human. He was not like an everyday guy.
I think I know what you're talking about. Is this the guy?
He was on there.
They had him in one episode. He was on the ship talking to them, and then the next thing you know, he's back on the Earth talking to. Oh no! I'm thinking about Voyager, Star Trek Voyager.
This was. Oh my Lord! I can't think of that guy's name.
And he was part of the crew.
Yeah, I think he was on there with Worf and them. I think he was on there with. Yeah, he was on there with when Avery Brooks was the.
Oh, you talking about Deep Space Nine?
Yeah, Deep Space Nine. He was on that. That's the show, and he was the brain guy, but he was. In other words, people would say, yeah, but he was kind of. In other words, he had issues with the fact that he was not all human. In other words, he was like modified. Yeah, I can't think of his
what
name.
you're talking about. He had like the same issues like Data had.
Right,
like
exactly.
Human.
But he was more human than Data, because Data was a machine.
Yeah, straight Android.
This dude wasn't a machine. He was selected. In other words, he was
I know
created.
What you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like at the time that Star Trek was out, I was on and off Blueberry Farm, doing all kind of stuff with my dad. I never really sat down and watched it. Then next thing I know, Voyager came out. Yeah, I know you.
Yeah, with Janeway.
Yeah, Captain Janeway.
I met Avery Brooks down. He does a one-man show of Paul Robeson, and Paul Robeson. So the Paul Robeson House hosted a thing, gave him a proclamation down. It was down the Mayo Reception, right?
Where's it at?
Huh?
Where's it at?
What's that? The Paul Robeson House, 4951 Walnut Street. That's the house he spent the last 10 years of his life in. You got to go through there and talk to the director. Her name was Binoco. But anyway, at the time the director was Fran Austin. So we was down there. So taking pictures, and I need to really.
Yeah, Avery Brooks.
Avery Brooks, yeah.
So that's days of his life.
Huh?
That's days of his life, you said?
Paul Robeson spent the last days of his life at 4951 Walnut Street. And as a tribute to Paul Robeson, Avery Brooks does a one-man show as a tribute to him, right?
Yeah.
So we were all down at City Hall, and so I'm standing to him. We like you said, take a picture. And so afterwards, I said, hey, man, let me tell you something. I don't know how you got the parts that you got. I said, one thing I love about you, you never played no chump, no punk. You always were play strong black. He said he's a give thanks man. He said, he was real spiritual, he was real humble. And I said, man, listen, it was a vibe where I don't know how you got them roles. And then not just roles, but badass roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the Star Trek, man.
Oh yeah. And then see, you might not remember this, but he was in a show called Hawk. That was his show. Remember Hawk?
I remember Hawk.
Hawk was so bad. Yeah. Hawk was a character that was more expensive for hire.
Yeah.
Well, Hawk was so bad they had to give Hawk. But see, America wasn't ready for Hawk. But you know what though? Hawk had a teacher. If you go on YouTube and look at some old shows, Hawk had his brother who was a mystic. And see that's the other thing about Hawk. Hawk wasn't just about him kicking ass. It was a mystical thing about Hawk. Because guess what? Hawk's teacher, like whenever Hawk got in trouble, whenever he needed guidance, he went to this older black brother. And I think that was Moses, the actor. So he would go to him. And so what happened is his best friend, his teacher's best friend, had got killed. And it was a case that Hawk was on. And so when the teacher walked in, and Hawk was over him like this here, like he was like, damn. So when the teacher walked in, he looked at him, right? He looked at him, and he said, listen, I need to be alone with her, right? He says, I need to be alone with her. He said, we need to be one. I never get the line. He said, we need to be one. And so Hawk says, I understand. Hawk left the room, and as he was closing the door, you heard the music say, ching, and when you turned around, his teacher had disappeared. Right? In other words, when Hawk turned around, all he saw was a man in bed like this. He didn't see his teacher no more. So it was up for you to determine what happened, right? So I said, that blew my mind. I'm like, damn, what kind of shit is that? I'm thinking I'm watching like a detective show.
Yeah.
I said, what kind of shit? But see, Erica wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, you better take that food.
Yeah, man, I gotta keep.
Always good talking to you, man.
Yeah,
all right,
pleasure.
Yes, sir. But look up on those feeders, the New World Map. Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely do that. I'm gonna make a video on it. I'm gonna look it up, get some facts, and make a video on it.
Hey, that'll be a good move.
Yeah.